Welcome in or welcome back. Today we're going to be reading chapter 5 from the Two Worlds Path scripture, the book of the Sacred Bond. Okay, and this chapter is called The Doctrine of Diverse Bonds, Polyamory, Non-Traditional Union, and Ethical Love. This is definitely a chapter that is very controversial in the world, which is why it's so important that we touch on this topic. Okay? The path is not a corridor with a single door. It is a wide country. And love takes many shapes in a wide country. The question the path asks of every bond is not what shape it takes, but whether it is honest, whether it is free, and whether it serves the genuine good of every soul it touches. The Remembrancers from the Third Scroll of Belonging. All right. The Two Worlds Path honors the full spectrum of loving bonds. This has always been true, even when it has not always been fully articulated. The love that the path names sacred is not constrained to a single cultural form or a single configuration of persons. It is constrained only by the three laws of love's motion: freely given, oriented toward genuine good, and honest. This chapter is written with deep respect for those whose love does not fit the singular partner dyadic model, and with equal commitment to preventing harm wherever loving structures, whatever their form, may conceal harm. Part 1, the foundational principle. The foundational principle of the diverse bond is stated simply: all forms of loving union are honored by the path if they meet the three laws of love's motion. The form of the bond is secondary to the quality of the love within it. The path is not naive about the ways in which the rhetoric of diverse love has at times been deployed to justify harm. The language of non-traditional love has been used to conceal coercion, exploitation, and the satisfaction of one person's desires at the cost of others' genuine well-being. This chapter is written precisely to draw the clearest possible line between ethical diverse love and the exploitation that sometimes wears its name. Part 2, polyamory and multi-partner bonds. Polyamory is defined by the path as the practice of loving more than one person romantically or intimately, with the full knowledge and genuine consent of all persons involved. This definition contains its ethical requirements within it. Full knowledge and genuine consent are not negotiable modifiers, but the substance of what makes polyamory an ethical rather than a harmful practice. The Walker's framework for ethical polyamory rests on three commitments. The first is the clarity covenant. All partners are openly named and known to one another. There are no hidden relationships, no unnamed persons, no one whose existence in the network is concealed from the others. Clarity is not merely a recommendation, it is the structural foundation of ethical polyamory. The second commitment is the hierarchy of honesty. No hidden relationships. This extends the clarity covenant into practice. Not only are all partners named at the outset, but any new addition to the network is disclosed to all existing partners before the relationship is entered, not after. The hierarchy of honesty means that Honesty takes precedence over desire at every moment when they conflict. The third commitment is the no harm audit, a regular communal check-in held among all persons in the network to assess honestly whether any person is being harmed, diminished, or made less than themselves by the configuration of the network. This audit is not a performance of harmony. It is a genuine inquiry held in safety in which every person is invited to speak their true experience without fear of punishment for doing so. The 7 tests of ethical polyamory are the path's standard of assessment for any multi-partner network. They are: first, is every person fully informed and genuinely consenting, not merely told, but given sufficient time, space, and freedom to form their own genuine response. Second, is any person being deceived, either about the existence of other partners, about the nature of the relationships involved, or about the intentions of those they are partnered with? Third, is any person being pressured or coerced to accept this arrangement as a condition of keeping a relationship, housing, economic stability, or community membership that they could not otherwise easily maintain? Fourth, is the arrangement oriented toward all persons' genuine growth and flourishing, or is it structured primarily to serve the desire and convenience of one person while the others accommodate? Fifth, are all children in or near this network protected, stable, and secure, with their developmental needs for consistency, safety, and age-appropriate understanding being met? Sixth, can any person freely leave this network at any time for any reason without loss of housing, community membership, economic stability, or other essential resources that would render the cost of leaving prohibitive? Seventh, does each person in the network have access to their own counsel, trusted individuals outside the network who know them fully and can offer perspective that is not filtered through the network's own interests? The elder instructors taught, a network that cannot survive an honest answer to these questions is not a network of love. It is control wearing love's clothing. Part 3, the doctrine of sovereign desire. The path equally honors and protects those who desire singular, exclusive partnership. This is named explicitly and formally because it has been, in some communities, understated. A walker who desires a traditional, exclusive, dyadic partnership is not spiritually inferior to one who practices polyamory. They are not less evolved, less open, or less loving. They are sovereign. The doctrine of sovereign desire is the path's formal statement that no walker may be pressured, shamed, manipulated, or spiritually coerced into any relationship configuration they do not freely choose. This applies with equal force in every direction. No one may be shamed for wanting an exclusive bond, and no one may be shamed for wanting a non-exclusive one. Sovereign desire is sovereign desire in every form. Part 4, same-sex, queer, and gender-diverse unions. The path affirms without qualification and with warmth that same-sex, queer, and gender-diverse unions are fully within the path's embrace. All rights in this book apply equally to all loving bonds, regardless of the gender configuration of the partners. The path sees the soul's love as the sacred thing. It has never perceived gender as the criterion of a bond's holiness. The walker who carries this truth into a world that does not yet affirm The walker who carries this truth into a world that does not yet everywhere affirm it carries a teaching the world needs. The path asks nothing of these walkers except that they love as all walkers are asked to love, honestly, freely, and oriented toward the genuine good of the beloved. Part 5. Asexual, aromantic, and platonic bonds. The path recognizes that some walkers experience little or no sexual desire, little or no romantic attraction, or forms of attraction and connection that do not fit neatly into the categories the popular imagination offers. The path names this not as a wound to be healed or a deficiency to be compensated for, but as a genuine and complete form of being in the world. Platonic bonds of deep commitment, co-living, and mutual dedication are honored by the path as fully as romantic and erotic bonds. The love between people who share a home, a life, a community, and a genuine and lasting commitment to one another's good is a sacred bond by the path's own definition, regardless of the presence or absence of sexual or romantic content. For those walkers who wish to formally name and honor such bonds before their community, the path offers the rite of Platonic covenant, a ceremony drawn from the union ceremony modified to reflect the particular character of the bond being named. The vows are spoken, the witnesses gather, the community blesses, and the bond is formally received into the community's knowledge and care. The form of love does not determine the sanctity of the covenant, the quality of the commitment does. Part 6. The absolute right of non-participation. Every walker has the absolute right to decline any relationship configuration. No teaching of the path, no community pressure, no partner's desire, and no spiritual claim overrides this right. The doctrine of the closed heart recognizes that a person who declines a relationship or form of love is not broken, incomplete, or in need of healing. They are sovereign. Blessed is love in all its true forms, the bond of two, the bond of many, the bond of friends who choose one another as family. Blessed is the one who loves singularly, and the one who loves widely, and the one who loves quietly across a lifetime of chosen nearness. Blessed is the one who knows themselves well enough to say, "This is the form my love takes, and it is enough." The path walks beside all of you, so it is declared, so it is held. Having widened the circle of honorable love, the path must also sharpen the walker's ability to recognize what is not love at all. The next chapter turns from inclusion to discernment, so that openness does not become vulnerability to deception, coercion, or harm. All right, chapter 6, the discernment of false love, illusion, manipulation, and the deceiver's craft. There are those who have learned to wear love's face without love's heart. They are among the most dangerous presences the walker will ever encounter, not because they are powerful, but because they know how to be believed. The Elder Instructor's 4th Discourse on the Deceiver's Nature. The two worlds path does not traffic in fear, but it walks with clear eyes, and its clear eyes have seen what love's name has been used to do when it is worn by those who do not carry love's substance with them. False love is defined by the path as any bond constructed through deception, manipulation, or the deliberate exploitation of the beloved's vulnerability. False love is not love at all. It is predation wearing love's face. The path refuses to treat it as love in any diluted or complicated form. It names it precisely as what it is. This chapter is written not to make the walker paranoid about love, for the distrust of all love is its own form of harm. It is written so that the walker may love fully and freely while carrying the discernment that protects them from those who would exploit that fullness and freedom. Part 1, the Deceiver's Toolkit. The path names 5 primary tools of the false lover, described here symbolically and practically so that the walker may recognize them not in the abstract but in their own experience before the harm they can cause has become irreversible. The first tool is love bombing, the overwhelming of a person with excessive attention, flattery, intense declarations of feeling, and a pace of emotional intimacy that moves far faster than genuine knowing can support. Love bombing is designed to bypass the walker's discernment, to fill the beloved so full of warmth and attention that the part of them that would otherwise pause and observe is drowned out. The pace of healthy love is the pace of genuine knowing. It allows for the other person to be observed, for the self to be honest about what is being observed, and for the bond to develop at the natural rhythm of trust being built through demonstrated reliability. The pace of love bombing skips this entirely. It arrives at declarations of deep connection before connection has been genuinely established. The feeling of being seen and chosen and celebrated that love bombing creates is real. What is false is the basis of it. The second tool is false scarcity, the strategic creation in the beloved's mind of the belief that the false lover is uniquely and irreplaceably suited to them, that no one else has ever understood them so fully that no one else ever could, that they will never find another like this. The isolation strategy embedded in false scarcity serves to make the beloved feel that their only access to being truly known is through the false lover, and that any questioning of the bond is therefore a questioning of their own capacity for connection. The third tool is mirror mimicry, the presentation by the false lover of a self that reflects back, with remarkable precision, exactly what the beloved most wishes to see. The mirror mimic has no stable self to offer, only the capacity to read what the beloved needs and become it. This is why mirror mimicry is so extraordinarily seductive and so extraordinarily difficult to detect in the early seasons of a bond. The beloved feels perfectly understood, perfectly met, perfectly matched, because what they are seeing is a reflection of themselves. The test for depth of character is time and the full range of circumstances. The mirror mimic cannot maintain the reflection under sustained pressure across genuine conflict, through the moments of difference that all genuine relationships produce. Watch for the self that emerges when agreement is impossible, when the beloved has displeased the other, when the mask of perfect meeting is inconvenient. What appears in those moments is the truth. The fourth tool is the long con, manipulation that unfolds slowly over months or years, building genuine feeling intimacy for the purpose of extracting something from the beloved. Most commonly, financial resources or identity through the long con, Though the long con can also seek power, status, or the satisfaction of harm for its own sake. The path wishes to speak here with particular clarity about the romance scammer, the person who builds a sustained, emotionally intimate relationship through correspondence, gift, and the gradual construction of a compelling and beloved persona, specifically for the purpose of eventual financial extraction. The suffering caused by the long con is among the most profound in the catalog of love's injuries. Let me finish the sentence. Because the grief is doubled, the beloved grieves both the loss of the person they loved and the revelation that the person they loved did not exist. I just want to add in here that, like, financial, like, extraction can also include spiritual wealth. So, you know, like, that's a thing where you build up, like, dharma. So there's karma and there's dharma. And there are ways for magicians and, you know, like, witches, warlocks, whatever, they know how to extract that by doing certain things, okay? So just be wary of that, because you might be like, oh, well, I don't even have any money, so I'm not even gonna listen to this part. But you probably do. You at least have financial wealth. Spiritual wealth. Okay. So they must mourn someone who was never real. This is a particular form of cruelty, and the path names it without softening. Warning signs specific to relationships conducted at distance or primarily online include the person who is always unavailable for direct video communication or in-person meeting despite sustained contact. The person whose story of themselves contains inconsistencies that, taken individually, seem minor but accumulate into a pattern. The person who, after a period of warmth and connection, introduces a request for financial assistance. And the person whose life circumstances are consistently extraordinary in ways that perpetually prevent meeting. The fifth tool is spiritual manipulation. The use of spiritual language, divine calling, sacred frameworks, path-adjacent claims, or the authority of spiritual tradition to compel a person into a relationship they would not otherwise freely choose. Spiritual manipulation is among the most dangerous of the deceiver's tools because it attacks the most sacred thing the walker carries, their spiritual framework, their sense of divine guidance, their trust in the sacred. The elder instructors were explicit. No genuine teaching of the arc forces, no authentic revelation of the path, and no legitimate spiritual authority will ever direct a walker to enter a relationship against their own honest discernment. The divine does not compel. What compels is in the name of the divine is not divine. Part 2, the 7 signs of false love. The path names 7 observable signs by which a walker may recognize that they are in the presence of false love, regardless of the warmth of the feeling the bond may carry. First, isolation from community and kin. The false lover consistently and progressively narrows the beloved's world, finding fault with friends, creating discomfort around family, making the beloved's other relationships difficult or costly to maintain. A bond that is genuinely good expands the beloved's world. A bond that is false contracts it. Although I do want to say, if someone's family is hella toxic and stuff and you're like calling attention to that, and it's like a situation where it's like severely harmful and like those, and you've suggested like routes of conflict resolution or whatever. The person's already tried like every conflict resolution in the book and they've all failed, and like the only clear pathway moving forward that's healthy would be for them to walk away from said family members or friends or whatever, then to me that retraction of bonds in one's life would be a healthy route. But if it's some type of manipulation or like some type of manipulation and it's built on false constructs and foolhardy and impulsive or whatever, then that's a big no. Alright. Alright, where are we? Alright, second, escalating demands and tests of loyalty. The false bond consistently asks more in ways that are framed as expressions of love or of the bond's special nature. The requests grow in magnitude and in the degree of sacrifice required. Each compliance becomes the baseline for the next demand. Third, inconsistencies in story, history, or identity. Details of the false lover's account of themselves do not cohere over time. What was said in one month contradicts what was said in another. The inconsistencies are explained away individually, but form a pattern that cannot be explained by faulty memory. Like, there's a reasonable degree of, like, stories that somebody tells you, like, not being exact, because, like, it can be hard to, like, every time you tell a story, it can be, like, a little bit different, because, like, you just don't remember everything perfectly or whatever, or you remember more details the next time or something like that, but if it's, like, you could tell, because, like, when somebody's, like, telling a story, it's, like, a vacuous energy to it. There's nothing, I don't know. There's, like, a vacuous energy where there's just, but they could also be detached from it because it's a very painful memory, so you have to take that into consideration. It's just a certain quality. You have to also know the person's baseline of, like, when they tell something that, like, is a fact. What do they look like? What do they seem like? What's their vibe? That kind of thing. So, but again, there's always, like, nuances and so many factors that can be involved. But I guess that's a good place to, like, kind of go off of. Like, you have to know the person's baseline. Fourth, refusal to meet in person, in community, or before witnesses. The person who genuinely loves... so one thing I want to say is, like, okay, so for example, somebody who, like, say somebody's in a relationship, right? But they, like, don't make it obvious or clear, like, especially, like, if you're, okay, so this is just an example. So, not especially, but, like, this is just an example. So, say you're, like, a public personality, right? Like, you have a show that you host on, like, some type of social media, right? And you're seen on there flirting with other, like, guests on your show and stuff like that. For example, comparing yourself, comparing the guest as Trinity, and then yourself as Neo, and then also, like, bringing up vulgar kind of statements about how you would be, what was it, this it's actually a real person, something about how, like, if they were like an angel in heaven, they would be like the angel that's like a man whore. I think they were saying Gabriel or something. And they would have like probably like 10 kids or some shit like that. Like, they just, the way they were talking was portraying themselves as a man whore. But there was always this energy of like, do they have a girlfriend? Like, it seems like they do, because they would refer to this female as their partner, which is like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, what is a partner? Like, does that mean you're in business with them? And then they also like explained this person in another instance, and they said like something about this person's name and their girlfriend, like almost making it seem like this person was a lesbian. But then in another instance, like later on, they refer to them as their lover. And then they like included them in like imagery, like visual, like video that they made, like, you know, like some AI thing. And I'm just like, you know, like, so that's like what something like this is, like inconsistencies going on. Like, I notice things like that with people where they'll like, the way they portray themselves, it's like they're playing games, like they're playing like mind games. And it's just very strange. And then the funny thing, in the video they made, they had like a wedding ring on. And the like, what is it? It's like the female like finally caught on to what they were doing. And then like, you know, like beat they ass, so to speak. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just very weird. Okay. Anyways, so my neck is like hella itchy, dude. I don't know what is going on with my neck. Okay. Sustained resistance to being known. Okay, where are we? Refusal to meet in person, community, or before witnesses. The person who genuinely loves in the way they claim has no need to keep the beloved isolated from their own community. Sustained resistance to being known in context, to meeting the beloved's people, to appearing in shared spaces, to being seen by those who might offer an outside perspective, is a sign of something that cannot withstand the scrutiny of witness. Fifth, financial requests before genuine established trust. Any request for money, financial access, or material resources before a bond has been deeply established and tested by time, is a warning sign to be taken seriously and without guilt about taking it seriously. That could be also a reason why a lot of these people, like especially in the spiritual community, try to come off as if they're not single, because especially like the males, because they're trying to like get these females to like fawn over them or whatever. And they think the only way they can do that is like if they're single, though there's a lot of females that like it when men are not single. You know, so there's that, but yeah, it's just a lot of manipulation and stuff. I can't stand that, especially if you claim to be like spiritual. It's like, and you're morally ambiguous, like to an extent like that. That's very harmful. And also it shows like mental illness. A lot of these people, they just blab off and go wild. Like, I've definitely, you know, experienced myself where I'm kind of like I'm in like Pisces hardcore 12th house energy, where it's like I'm in the ethereal like a lot. And, you know, I would say it's like, I really don't want to call it spiritual psychosis, but it's almost like that, I guess, where, like, you know, you could be going a little too off on the woo-woo, right? But, you know, there's a way to do that where it's, like, you know, self-awareness and, like, reflection after and stuff like that, making a lesson out of it, setting an example for how to handle those moments where you might be going off the rails or whatever. I think that's where the beauty in something wild or out there could be. And then that's the fine line to where like mental illness can be like that versus mental illness is like, there's the contrast there is like somebody that just goes off and rambles and says like a bunch of weird egoic shit or something like that. And they don't ever explain it, or it's just like a one-off kind of thing, and then they pretend it never happened and just try to gloss over it or whatever. To me, that's like a big red flag. That's a big warning sign. And like, but for me, like, I'm an investigative martyr, so it makes me want to like look more deeply, but then I get to a point where I'm like bored of it and I'm just like, case closed. We're done with that. Because then, because these people then, new levels, different devils, they'll take it to another level and they'll do their voodoo hoodoo shit even deeper. It's like these archons. Yeah. Alright, so okay, so financial requests. Alright, 6th, rage or punishment when the beloved exercises autonomy. The response of genuine love to a beloved's free choice, even a choice that the lover disagrees with, is respectful engagement, honest expression of feeling, and ultimate respect for the choice. The response of false love is control, punishment, withdrawal, rage, or the application of pressure designed to bring the beloved back into compliance. 7th, the beloved feels smaller, less capable, or more ashamed than before the relationship began. This is the most reliable of all 7 signs and the most important. Love, genuine love, makes people more themselves, more capable, more connected to their own worth. A bond that consistently leaves the walker feeling smaller, less competent, or more ashamed of who they are is not serving their genuine good, regardless of the feeling of love that the bond also carries. Part 3, the walker's discernment practice. The path offers the still water test as a contemplative practice for assessing the true nature of a bond. The walker finds a place of genuine quiet, stills their body and breath, and invites the arc forces as witnesses to the inquiry. They then hold the relationship in the center of their attention, not the feeling of the relationship, but the relationship's actual effects, and observe. Does this relationship make me more myself or less myself? Does it open me to the world or close me from it? Does it make me kinder or more guarded? Does it make me more honest or more managed in what I present? Am I more afraid than I was before it began, or less? The still water test is not infallible, and it is not designed to create certainty. It is designed to create contact with the walker's own genuine perception, which is often wiser than the walker's desire, which is the part of them most likely to have already seen what needs to be seen. Part 4, the path of response and the doctrine of non-shame. When the walker recognizes that they are in the presence of false love, the path's protocol is clear and compassionate. The walker does not confront alone. They bring a trusted witness or elder into the situation before any confrontation is made. Safety is created before disclosure. Housing, economic stability, and physical safety are assessed and secured before the false lover is informed of the walker's recognition. The walker knows that leaving is not failure but clarity. Community support is sought and accepted without shame, and the loss is grieved. For even a false bond creates real suffering in those who held it genuinely. The doctrine of non-shame is the past final word on the subject of false love. A walker who has been deceived in love carries no shame from that deception. The full weight of shame belongs to the one who has deceived. This is very important, okay? I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've been deceived. And mainly it was, whatever. Anyways, but yeah, it's, not blaming yourself or putting it fully on yourself, or because that's what they intend, is that they want to bring you down and get your confidence down. So, don't let them win on that, okay? The full weight of shame belongs to the one who deceived. The path does not permit its community to visit judgment on those who were misled, and too often people do that. For love that is offered honestly and received by a deceiver is not a failure of the one who offered. It is evidence of their capacity for love. And that capacity remains and is honored and will one day be met with the love it deserves. May the walker see clearly and love fully, holding both in equal measure. May the eyes that love with openness also carry the wisdom of discernment. May those who have been deceived find their way back to themselves quickly and know without doubt that what was taken from them can be restored. So it is taught, so it is held. Discernment protects the walker from false love, but even truthful love can end and leave wounds behind. The next chapter, therefore, turns from danger to healing. How the walker grieves, reckons, releases, forgives, and eventually returns to love without denying what was lost. All right, and that's the message for, that's chapter 6. I am so itchy. I've been so itchy the past 2 days. I'm I don't know if it's these wildfires, which are I haven't really been outside too much the past couple of days. But and I don't smell smoke. The last time this happened, I could see smoke outside. I could smell it. It was very potent. I know yesterday I mentioned in one of my videos, because I seen somebody that I never see chain smoking, vaping or whatever, in a video I was watching. And this person I have a little bit of a sordid history with or whatever. So I could feel the energy. I pick up on that shit, and I was like, this is something. So that's what made me speak out about that. I just feel there's a lot of people, they're saying it's this chemical smell, and it's interesting because with vaping there's a chemical thing, and that's been something that's gotten brought up a lot, is these people vaping that are meant to be leaders in the spiritual community or in the online world, right? And they're all chain smoking and vaping and stuff, and they're doing it on camera, and it's and so a lot of them have kids and stuff, and it's dude, show some fucking dignity. What are you doing? You can't control yourself for an hour and not smoke or something. It's ridiculous. That you got a problem when that's what you're doing. And I think that these wildfires, there's something going on with that, because as above so below, as within so without. And there's this chemical smell going on, this chemical. Yeah. The micro reflects the macro. The microcosm reflects the macrocosm. The macrocosm reflects the microcosm. Okay? So, yeah. The smoke of sins I can't deny. She said, I can't make this shit up okay, never mind, I'm not gonna say that. Alright, it is a rough road that leads to the heights of greatness. Yeah, so, you know, it's not easy to give up, like, bad habits and stuff, but, like, you know, that's life. Like, toughen up, buttercup, you know? Like, stop making everybody else suffer. It's like when I used to smoke a lot, I would smoke out by my van. Like, in my van, I would open the sliding door and I would sit in there. I took out the bucket seat and I would sit in there on, like, a cushion and I would smoke. And there's this tree, like, it's like a little bit of a road, and then this big tree there, and there's, like, you know, like a squirrel family in there and stuff, and the squirrels would be, like, yelling at me sometimes because I was, like, polluting them, you know, and I felt bad, and I was like, I gotta stop this shit. And then one time I remember looking at the tree, it was like it was giving me the middle finger, I swear to God. It, like, it literally looked like that. Alright, we're gonna do a quick fortune poll for you guys. Pick a number between 1 through 5. Number 1, will you have all the fun? Number 1, if you don't enjoy what you have, how could you be happier with more? So you'll have fun if you practice gratitude, okay? If you don't enjoy what you have, how could you be happier with more? I don't know if I agree with that, though. But, like, in certain contexts and respects, sure, but, you know, having more could reduce burdens and stress on someone in lots of ways that would allow them to be able to have emotional and mental space to be able to have fun, right? More easily. Alright, number 2, what'd it do? Money speaks a language everyone understands. Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about here. It does, right? Alright, number 3. What'd it be, number 3? In order to capture a city, first capture the heart of the people. You might have great ambitions. An unexpected check or fortune will arrive today. It's gonna land in your lap, apparently. Alright, number 4. What doth spirits implore for you, number 4? We all have extraordinary coded within us, waiting to be released. And I'm also seeing be true to yourself no matter what. It's just, like, laid out there perfectly. Alright, number 5. What doth spirits want to tell you to stay alive? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Something about teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. Maybe there's somebody you need to partner up with instead of going at it alone. Alright, so that's the messages I have for you guys. And I will catch you on the next one. Bye!